The man
Call somebody,
is back,
tell
y'all.
somebody.
We're
He's
back.
Call
He's
your
back.
mama, call your daddy.
We're back and we're back.
We're back.
Tony McGee,
He's back, y'all.
We're back. Tony McGee. Come on.
Tony McGee, Pro Football Plus. Tony McGee, Pro Football Plus. Tony McGee, Pro Football Plus. Tony McGee.
Crystal City Sports Pub, located in the heart of National Landing, is ranked one of the top 20 sports bars in the country. We are open 365 days a year. Crystal City Sports Pub, with its laid-back atmosphere, is the place to be. We offer 3 levels, over 100 TVs, an 18-foot video wall, pool tables, 3 full bars featuring 11 beers on tap, an extensive menu, and super friendly staff. We offer on- and off-site catering and ample space to host private parties and gatherings. Come experience Crystal City Sports Pub. It is the place to be.
Welcome to Tony McGee's Pro Football Plus. Now, you know we're not happy here. A 3-8 team that was supposed to win the division. Now, we got about 6 weeks to talk about this. Now, can they make the playoffs in 6 weeks? Only as everybody else plays as bad as they played the last 6 weeks. But what we're worried about is this team has gone backwards. And we keep talking about it as being local fans, and we are. So what do? When we come to this show, we go out and we just and wait to Dr. Hopkins to tell you, we went everywhere. We asked everybody's people, you got to talk to my people because we wanted to get this one guy in. And lo and behold, guys, we brought him here for you today, and we're going to start the show with him. And I'm going to tell you about him. Been knowing him for 41 years. He helped me get this show started. He worked with me in some things, and now he's one of the premier individuals you'll see on television. I'm talking about the one and the only James Brown. Donna, come in so you can talk with me about it for us to be able to get someone like JB. I heard you was quizzing him and he was quizzing you when y'all was talking yesterday.
Yeah, Tony, it was a treat to have James Brown on. He is the hardest working man in the business. And he brought us a lot of insight, Tony, as far as around the NFL, who he thinks is the hot teams, this season going into the last stretch. So, Tony, let's just go right to James Brown to see what he has to say as we go around the NFL.
Well, you know what? We always try to have exciting shows. I know the varsity teams thus far have not been what we want them to be. So we're going to kick them to the curb. We told you. If you can't run with the big dog, you got to stay up under the porch. And that's what they've been doing. So what we do, we go out and get a guy. I can remember he was way back. He was just doing basketball then. Yeah. I thought he had a nice little shot and stuff. And I was in the booth and he had come over for football. I started talking to this guy and we've been talking ever since. And that's been 41 years. James Brown, thank you for coming down.
Hey, first of all, as you can see, there's a perpetual smile on my face. And I know the viewers are just tuning in. But, Tony, Donna Hopkins will talk you and me. You're the ex-NFL player. You know the stuff. But, Tony, she'll talk us under the table because she knows.
Yeah, she know the stuff. But we're going to have to get into this because you know what? I've been getting a little erroneous information
from Donna.
Her.
Oh, it couldn't have been me.
JB, this is what I got to tell you. And fans, you know I've been talking about it. We got this little thing where we pick on Mondays and different games and stuff. Donna's been pencil whooping us, man. She have us give us hers, and she always end up winning by 1 or 2.
Hey, James, all I know is when people are not on the top, they always talk about the person that's on the top, and they make excuses for people who know how to pick winners.
Yep. Oh, that's why you're doing that to me. Okay, well, let's go with this. We all sounds good. It's nice to be able to joke and everything, but at the same time, kind of a little disappointed because we thought this team really had some stuff going on. And James, I want to jump in. I know Donna got a ton of questions for you, but as you go around the league, have you noticed that maybe 5 or 6 of the teams in the playoffs last year may not even make it this year? Do you know that?
Tony, go ahead, sir. No, go ahead.
It's going to be some people in there that you never anticipated in the Super Bowl this year.
No question about it. You know what? I know it's cliche, and I really do want to hear you and Donna weigh in on this. I just got finished doing the morning show with Nate Burleson as we were talking about it, and going over, and then a little satellite tour where you talk to a bunch of CBS stations. And the expression is sports are tribal. People in those given areas, I did a Buffalo market, Philadelphia, Kansas City, et cetera, et cetera. They know their teams well. So that's why I'm glad we got Donna Hopkins in the hip pocket here, Tony. But Tony, when I looked at the standings, I'm looking at the teams that are sitting atop their various divisions, and it's surprising. I mean, who would have thunk it that New England would be sitting at the top of the heap with a 10-2 mark? Philadelphia, while John Madden had taught me, he said, JB and Tony would appreciate this. When you build a team, you got to start from the inside out. You got to have a defensive line and an offensive line. As a matter of fact, Donna Hopkins was telling me as we were talking about the Washington squad, she walked me through all of the injuries and the age there. And I'm saying Donna is walking it from the inside out. So, yeah, I am surprised. Indianapolis, who would have thought about them and what they've been doing? Denver at whatever they are, 8-3 or 9-2, whatever they are. It's amazing to see those teams up there. Now, everybody is still hoping that Kansas City might be able to get there. Baltimore has Baltimore won 5 straight now?
Yes, they have.
Back on the map. They back on the map.
And they could be one of the most dangerous ones out there.
If they could be. But Tony, you and Donna tell me, are people reflecting on what was or what is now? Because even when you look at the game between Philadelphia and Dallas has not been a world beater at all. They come back from 21 down to beat the Philadelphia Eagles. It's almost true on any given Sunday. I don't see a dominant offensive team out there, but what I do see are some teams that have got some seriously good defenses. But you all take it from there.
Hey, James, I'm going to jump in, and y'all didn't call this name out. It's the LA Rams.
Oh, no, hey, Donna,
Rams.
you know what?
Oh, don't say y'all. How long ago did I tell you the Rams was the team?
Hey, Donna, can I apologize? Because Tony Dungy just told me the other day, and I asked him, who's the biggest surprise team? Who do you think the first team he mentioned were the Rams, period. And what they did to Tampa Bay, and, you know, Tampa is no slouch. I mean, I love what Todd Bowles has been doing there. But, boy, once they sprinted out to that lead and the style of ball that Tampa plays, it was no catching up with those guys.
Yeah, you just named a lot of teams that are surprising across the league, because I've been, like Tony called out the Rams in the beginning. I'll give him that little dap.
Hey, player. You know I was right.
Yeah, I'll give him that. But the way the Rams have really turned that team around, they've got the defense, they got the offense. And you mentioned the Colts. And we were up in New England during the early part of preseason playing, and we kind of like looked at that Commanders when they went up to play the Patriots. I mean, they lost their running back early on, but they've got really all the pieces in, as far as that team goes also. So I'm looking for some new teams to spring out, but still, you talked about Philadelphia. Well, they too busy up there fussing among each other as far as on the offensive side of the ball. Hurts and AJ Brown, and then as far as that whole team, Saquon Barkley, they're fighting among each other. So that's the reason why this offense can't get going, because they are inner fighting between each other. They call a player meetings, and their defense is still solid. They've got all the pieces that they had last year, but right now they've got inner squad squabbling among key players that should be your leaders right now. And then Kansas City, they're always in the conversation, but you can hear the difference this year. And then the Buffalo Bills that fell apart in the last few weeks. So right now it is wide open as far as teams, new teams that you haven't really thought about being in there. The Colts, I think they're slipping a little bit, but I'm looking at, as far as the Patriots and the Rams as being the strong teams in the chase. And I think the Rams is going to be in the Super Bowl.
Hey, so Donna, if I could ask Tony, the ex-player, a question playing off of what you just said, and I don't disagree at all, because I've been saying I thought even with the dysfunction there in Philadelphia, when push came to shove in critical time, they would go out and play because they got those big nasty boys on both lines. But Tony, to Donna's point, are you seeing the dysfunction that Donna is referencing is that which could cause them to implode as we get down to nut crunching time?
Well, that you can really see that, and we spoke about it a few weeks ago on the show for the simple reason you see a team that they start off well, they're strong, but now you have a quarterback that can squat 600 pounds, but he will not run anymore. What's that about? Then you got a receiver that they're not throwing the ball to, but then when he make a little noise, he has 60 yards in the first quarter of the game the other day. But what you're looking at, yes, that is not the way you want to see them operate. But as you look at these teams now that we said, the Patriots as well as Indianapolis, they had talent. But now this is a point where we can look, and guys, we've all been together for a long time. We can say this, it's because of the coaches they got. These guys, good, young coaches with some decent teams. Now, in the past years, we always look for that one player to come in and be the difference, or that one one coach or something. But now you can see, just like the attitude in Detroit, here's a coach that'll go for it on 3rd and 40. A lot of 4 and 40. A lot of people will say, "Is he crazy?" But you know what the game player and the people in the other coaches are saying? Man, we got a guard for this too. So here's something else. So what I'm looking at right now, the teams that are losing their, I guess what you could say, their hump or whatever, they're older. Now you got some decent players, not great as these players, but you got good coaching. And that's what you're seeing in the league right now.
Well, we haven't mentioned Seattle. Seattle is another team that should be mentioned.
They up and down. You can't,
Tony, they still gonna make the playoffs. So you still have to say that they're in the conversation. I'm just talking about conversation. And we're talking about a little bit about the Ravens too. The Ravens took a dive in the beginning of the season because they were decimated with injuries, just like the Commanders. But unlike Baltimore, like the Commanders right now, they haven't got their starting quarterback back yet and their starting receiver, that is Washington. But when you look at Baltimore, they should be able to run the ball better than they do. Derrick Henry is a guy, to me, they don't utilize, but they got Lamar Jackson back, and that team is starting to make noise again, where Pittsburgh is sliding a little bit because they've been hit with injuries also. So now we're talking about a Baltimore team that looked like they were out of the race. They're not even in your conversation. Is back in the fold now. So let's talk about Tony and James about the Commanders, which they had their bye week, coming off their bye week. They lost 6 straight games, a season that nobody foresaw coming when they looked at last year, the success that they had, almost making it into the Super Bowl. And then they get decimated with a lot of injuries on both sides of the ball. I know people saying that the next man up mentality, but I was talking to James earlier that you cannot expect to win successfully when you have half of your major core of your offense gone and also your defense. And Tony, you well know they lost 3 defensive linemen up front, and they were already shorthanded because they needed pass rushers. But when you lose 3 key people that you bring in to stop the run and also to plug up the middle with Doris Armstrong, and you lose that guy that is your main guy, and then across the board wise, you're going to have some hiccups. And I'm curious to know how this team is going to come back from the bye week when they lost 6 games, just coming back from Madrid, where they should have won that game against the Dolphins. But Coach Quinn, to me, was a better play caller. He, to me, made that defense play better. They're supposed to get some bodies back when they come back. And everybody is saying, should Jaden Daniels be bought back, being that this season looked like it's done? It's not done. You got 6 games to go. If you win all 6, you could be in the playoffs with 9 wins.
Well, that's the only good thing that came out of this weekend of play is enough teams lost enough that made sure that Washington was not eliminated. But we do not want to go in like that. when you start looking at the players who are getting hurt right now, okay, we can say that's the second tier players. But that means that you always have to look at your whole bench when you're picking a squad and look at that last player on the bench may be the only player you have to save you during the course of the year. They did not do that. Their second string came on and they got rid of the 4 first rounder on the defensive line. Second string came on, but then they changed Boo to an all-around player, which he was their best pass rusher. Then the best pass rusher, Armstrong, get hurt. Then somebody else get hurt that comes in and move them. You got to be able to look down your roster and not have anybody on there for say. You have them for go. And that's what's happening with this team. And then you look at this team, it's to the little things. And James, I'm going to ask you, all around the league, the one thing that I've started to see is, and you've been seeing it, and the reason I'm asking, not because you're older as I am. I'm older than you.
We are.
But you look at now and the basics, and you were a basketball player. You knew it basically when you do a left-hand layup, you need to use your left hand. Okay, let's keep it simple. These guys don't have an idea. It's just like this Washington team. If I go to the defensive coordinator, the first thing I'm going to ask him is, why do all of your defensive linemen go upfield and go inside and leave it outside? You are taught from day one in the NFL or any football, never let a quarterback or running ball get to your outside shoulder. So if you go up and go inside and give them that shoulder, you're letting them go out and sit up. That's what's happening. So, then you think –
Go ahead. Keep going. Keep going.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to ask because Donna was actually schooling me before we started talking. So, Tony, you can go in. No, she really was. You can school me on inside football. Now, I can ask the intelligent question, even if I don't know whether or not the skill set is there. So, wait a minute then. If you're telling me that it's common sense, it's a basic lesson taught, contain from the outside while doing, well, then is that a lack of coaching, discipline in terms of that? Because just a few minutes ago, you wisely talked about the kind of coaching that some of these surprise teams are getting. I go back to what Bill Cowher was talking about. He said, JB, you know what? A lot of folks don't want to talk about how critical coaching is in this. And if I think about, so hopefully I'm answering the question about Washington, because I would like to hear you and Donna expound on that. When I think about some of those surprise teams that you mentioned, let's go to the Indianapolis Colts. And I know one of the big knocks on them was, okay, good record in the whole 9 yards. Yeah, they're playing well. And you know what? They were a surprise team in terms of what they've been doing. But the bottom line is they still have surprise. But the coach, Shane Steichen, and staff must be doing something well. I like the way that Daniel Jones, now again, he may have a top side. I want to hear you and Donna say this, but when he came to the squad, one of the first things that he did was he asked for the phone numbers of everybody on the team, Anthony Richardson included. They went out, meals were on him. He wanted to bond together to get to know people. Coach Shane Steichen told him, look, all I need you to do, I want you, Tony, thank you for the basketball example. He said, I want you to be a point guard because we got some talent on this team. All I want you to do is be a point guard to get the ball to the playmakers. The number one playmaker is Jonathan T., who has been just flat out knocking them alive. And even everybody said, okay, you know what? The Colts have done pretty well, but you know what? It's because of their poor schedule. Let's see what they, well, you know what? They could have easily had that game the other night. They certainly could have. So the point is, it's not like they were blown out. I think about Sean Payton in Denver. He has got those guys. I got so much in me. Bill Cowher said, coaching matters from this standpoint. He said the first part of the season, there's no question a coach for that first used to be by quarters, Tony. But I guess, with 17 games now, first 4 games, they're really learning what kind of team they have because there's not the same preseason. You don't have as many hitting pads, during the regular season. So he says, I understand we want to protect the guys, but I need to know what I have. And he says, I don't learn that until the first 4 games. Then after that, when I know what I have, now I've got to make certain that I'm managing to my strengths for that next 4 games and playing that. self-scout to make sure you know where you're going. And it still ties back to what you're saying, that the outside guys aren't containing. Then Bill Cowher said, but when you get to that middle part of the season, this is what he calls navigating the murky waters of the season, because you've got injuries to contend with. He said, you got to control the narrative. He said, don't go reading the papers, because you're not as good as everybody wants to say you are, but you're not as bad as what some are saying you are. We control the narrative in the locker room. Sean Payton had those guys going into that game against Kansas City. He had them believing that they could knock down Mount Rushmore going into that game. And from the first snap, those boys out there in Denver were playing their butts off, but he's got them technically sound with everything. His coaching staff, they are operating like precision work. When he makes a call, those guys are in there. So how in the world can you tell me at this point that the hometown team, they don't understand from the defensive end standpoint, contain is one of the first things you're supposed to do, Tony?
They're not even the hometown team. Adult football player. Okay, they tell you that in the fourth grade when you start flag football, and they give you a set of rules. Come out, come off the ball, come off straight, get you a good stance, stay square, hit low, keep your face into the guy's chest when you're tackling, and never let anyone get to your outside if you are an inside man. If you're an inside man, never get split from the other one to lead the hole up the middle. All that is this stuff you've been told all your life. But since Donna's always talking about her schools and stuff.
I'm about to get you, Tony.
We were 33-0 in high school. I'm an old man, and I ain't lost a high school game yet.
And maybe before we leave the element of talking about coaching, I would like to hear from you and Donna, who you guys have done an excellent coaching job as well, too. I mentioned Sean Payton out there in Denver. I mentioned Shane Steichen in Indianapolis. Yeah, people will say, look at him when he ran into a good squad and what happened. Hey, wait a minute. They played a competitive game. They weren't overwhelmed or anything.
Yes.
When Denver played Kansas City, they knew that they had a good squad, and they're still gelling as an offense, even with that young boy Bo Nix at quarterback, but their defense is playing lights out. To me, and Tony and Donna, I couldn't talk about schemes because I haven't seen this kind of scheme, but I think about great defenses back in the day. The Dome Patrol down in New Orleans. I think about, the Ravens when they did win. Hey, at the Dome Patrol, all they told the offense, hey, just give us 14 points. We got it covered, okay? Chicago and all those squads. So defense still really does rule if you've got defense travels well if they're playing good. I'm just trying to see from you and Donna, and maybe it's more than a coaching standpoint. Who have you guys seen around the league that offensively you would be scared of? I love the way you and Donna both talked about the infighting in Philadelphia may well hurt them down the stretch. You know what? Because a team really, you don't have to like somebody, but you should play well together when you guys get out there on the field. Who do you guys see that offensively has the ability to gel to make some noise in the postseason, or is it strictly defense's rule come postseason?
Detroit.
So, why do you say that, Tony?
Got two of the best running backs in the game, got a defensive line with 2 or 3 people off, even though still playing well enough to make it happen. Got a coach that'll draw a gun on a snake. And so, you know what, he don't take nothing from none of them. And I like that because that brings a whole new element in the game. But they're playing well, even with a lot of people hurt. But the thing happened, they're getting one back this week, one back. They're still losing, but they're not out of it. That's a very dangerous team. Then I jumped to New England, my old team. They went and got one of their old linebackers, brought him in. What did he do at Tennessee? Well, he took a team that everybody was laughing at and turned it into a team that showed up each and every year. Now he's taking New England at the edge. You're living bit. Belichick is going, and you had all that in between, and trying to put back the same schematically thought that they had when he was there. Have a scheme where you are really taking care of everybody. Like this thing about he caught more touchdowns than a lot of tight ends when he was in the game. So you know he had innovation. So you see right there, he's changed the whole mindset of this team. So those, and then I got one more coach, the young man down in Houston. Now they have good games and bad games, but when I see them and I see the operation, I always want to look at the linemen. You look at the two linemen, and when one line is playing on the other side of the line of scrimmage, they're winning the battle. Look at Houston. They always in the other one's backfield, even on offense. They're guards and they're tackles. They pushing those defensive tackles back. They play in the backfield. But Donna, I'll turn it over to you.
I'm laughing at you, Tony, because you had the nerve to say Houston. Houston ain't going nowhere, Tony.
We talking about coaches now. We talking about coaches.
I like him, but still, he has.
They got a lot of young players, and then I got to go for him because Daryl Steen's grandson's on there. So
hey, they ain't got Tony. They ain't even got over the hump. Now, the New England, their quarterback play is really well because Drake May is playing ball up there, and I think that's the reason why they've had some sacks. But I'm going with the Rams, like I mentioned from day one. McVay has that team playing well. I mean, you think about them last year, they had injury problems, quarterback injuries across the board, but he basically has brought that team right back around in the circle. They got their quarterback play is really well. He is just savvy as far as his play calling all the way around. They like to run the ball. They've got the passing game. They've got a good defense. They're a well-rounded team. If you've noticed the way they just took apart the Bucks, and Todd Bowles is not no pushover. I mean,
well, they got a lot of injuries though. Now you got to get.
Hey, but Tony, that I'm still saying beyond the injuries, the Rams has played solid. They know how to put the points up on the board, and they basically don't let you score a lot on them. So to me, that's the most complete team right now, coaching wise. He's just strong. I mean, he just knows how to run an offense successfully. He did it well when he started with the Commanders. He left the Commanders, and he's one of the top name coaches. He was going to remember, guys, when he was getting ready to get out of coaching because he felt like he was burned out, and all he did was build that Rams team back again. So I'm going with the Rams for that reason until you knock me off. And I can't understand. I was going to say the Buffalo Bills, but that the brakes that fell out, from them, because I don't know what has happened to them in the last 3 weeks. But all the teams that you all are talking about, and let's not forget about the Baltimore Ravens that seems to be putting themselves back together as far as a complete team, because to me, they already had a defense that had not played well at the beginning of the season, but now they're starting to play a little bit better. But that offense is going to be the thing that keeps the Baltimore Ravens moving forward. But because they won like 5 straight games, you got to talk about them a little bit. But the Rams is on the top of my list. And Tony,
can I get a quick comeback from Donna on this? But when you look at Houston, are you not impressed? Here, D'Amico Ryans was moved to be more, Donna, as you were talking with me before we went on air, to a CEO position and turned over the play calling on defense. I'd have to defer to Tony. That defense is a beast. I mean, between Danielle Hunter and Will Shields, who's the other edge rusher? Yeah, with the Texans. And when they played Buffalo, now Buffalo is not the same team as they were in the past, but they still got the big farm boy at the helm who can put it on his own back. I mean, Houston handled them pretty doggone well defensively. And look, while C.J. Stroud is coming back, and Donna, you made a great point. There's a reason why a person or a guy is a backup or a third, but the only team that kind of refutes a little bit of that, Donna, the truth is what you said. That's why there are backups or whatever. But I'm telling you, what's the guy's name, the general manager in Detroit? Brad Holmes. Yeah. I don't know what they did because they had like 18 injuries. I don't know where he was uncorking all of these reserve players coming in there. And it might be what Tony was saying. Dan Campbell is like a Rambo coach. He's got them fired up because when they come in, they play like they've been world beaters. And you know what? They go out there and they're blazing. So I'm saying a couple things. Houston, Davis Mills did a great job in terms of holding the fort. I mean, he wasn't on fire, but he held the fort. They won 3 games while that defense was just lights out. So we'll see what happens with that down the road. I'm not going to argue with about the Rams because Tony Dungy said right off the bat, that was the number one team in his mind. Seahawks, another team that defensively has
I'm
played
not sold
well.
on them yet.
Say
I'm
that
not
again?
sold on them. I've
Okay,
always
no,
liked
but
the Rams.
that'll be Donna, I love Tony because he brings an insider's purview on that. I was just trying to scan to see if there were any others. Hey, we haven't talked about Caleb Williams from Washington, D.C. With the Bears. I mean, they're surprising at 8-3. They're not world beaters, but I'm telling you what, I keep in mind that Caleb Williams has had 3 offensive coordinators in 2 seasons. But now, Johnson comes in, Ben Johnson. Hey, let's establish the process. Listen to me. And once they see that it is working, they're playing pretty good football. They're sitting on top of the NFC North at 8-3. Cowboys, I know they're up and down as far as I'm concerned. But
they're dangerous, though, JB.
No defense. No
Okay.
defense.
But they can score 100.
They ain't got no defense. So if you got a team that can score against them, they're not going to win because
We
Dallas
just gonna have a good game there. We're gonna have it run up, but they're gonna beat it. I told them last 2 weeks ago. I said, everybody laughing at Dallas and stuff, but one thing they can do, they can't stop anybody, but can't nobody stop them.
Okay.
I'm still laughing at
always
Tony.
a danger. And then if you take a look back at everything you were saying, JB, you right on point with all of that stuff. And what right now you're saying, and that's why we got to have you back, my man. We're looking at this league. We're looking at how this is going, and it's always good to get a perspective for someone that's been doing it other than yourself so long. And Donna, we've been doing it for a long time. We need that insight. But what I'm listening to you, a person that is very knowledgeable, and I've watched and learned a lot from you, you're exactly right in your own point. Now what we need is our coaches to look for it. Schematically speaking, this team have to change up. Instead of with the defensive line, you got to start having games now. You got to start having guys changing position. That's what games mean. You got to have it on the move because you got to make that offensive lineman think. Anytime an offensive lineman, all of you young players out there, if you make that offensive lineman turn his hips to the sideline, you got him. And that's what I always did. I always felt when I got his hips turned, I'm turning him out. That's what this team, Washington, needs. We haven't talked a lot about them because we don't want to give up on them. But you know what?
It was some critical decisions made on the spot to make this team better in that game. So that means that it should trickle over to this game. But Tony, James got to come back to help us to see who's right about who's hot in this league, what teams we threw out there. But as you say, Tony, we don't say goodbye.
But I got to say one more thing. It reminds me of a time when we was back in school and this guy, we were behind 42-0. He ain't played all year. He was a running back. And they said, Rodriguez, get ready. He ran out and threw up and down the field. There's only 2 minutes left. And we were down 40-0. You know what he did? He ran back up to the coach and said, I don't know if I can pull this or not. That's what I'm talking about with the Commanders. I don't know if we can pull them out, but we will be back in a minute.
Hi, welcome home. It's Michelle Van Allen from Van Allen Real Estate. I am over 20 years experienced in this real estate game. We all know that right now this market takes an experienced agent to get you what you need. All of you sellers, if you're considering putting your house on the market, please give me a call. I'd be more than happy to sit down and talk to you to find out where you place in this market. Hey, you first-time home buyers, remember, right now is the perfect time. It's a buyer's market to get you into your first dream home. Hey, you investors, this is an amazing time to invest. If you ever thought about it, give me a call. We can talk about it. We can talk about specific properties that are on your radar and mine. Give me a call. I'd be more than happy to welcome you into the Van Allen Real Estate team. I look forward to talking to you soon.
Well, I told you we had an exciting show, and you know one thing about it, you heard what James Brown said. Now, that's a man with knowledge. The only knowledge I can understand how he think Donna knew so much. She must have brainwashed him on the way over here, but that's all right. When we talk about brainwashing, some of the calls that I saw the other day and the calls that I'm seeing around the league, we got to get better officiating in this league. Too many games. I saw last night where a guy barely touched the guy on a 4th and 40 almost seemed like, and they gave him a first down. I tell you what, Donna, your guys that you bring in right now, they can tell us a little bit about officiating. But you know yourself, it's just been some bad officiating as well as play this year in the NFL.
Well, one thing about this association, GPOA, Greater Potomac Association, the best officials in the DMV, we got a chance to talk to Earl Taylor about the association, what they're doing. And Tony, they have a suite at the Commanders Stadium this year for the first time. So, Tony, let's go right to Earl Taylor to find out a little bit more about GPOA and what they're doing, Tony, in the community.
Now, you know about our challenge, our Sunday, Monday night challenge. And, you know, we've been doing this for about 20 years. We try to bring in new people with new ideas, new businesses each and every year. This year, I think Donna went out and she found somebody. This gentleman has bought his company and has beaten everybody's grilled meat for 10 years. Who is this Earl? Who is this guy that you bought in? I need to meet him, Donna.
Yeah, Tony, I bought in association GPOA, Earl Taylor, president, owner, because, you know, he knows all sports. This association is the one to go to in the Washington metropolitan area, GPOA. They deal with the military. They deal with youth, intramurals. I've been working with Earl for the longest, as far as basketball games, softball games, keeping clocks and all of that. And I had to bring in a well-around person who knows sports in the Washington, D.C. area. I want you all to meet Earl Taylor, GPOA. Earl, welcome to the stage in the Sports Challenge.
Well, hello, everybody. I am so glad and honored to be part of this group. Donna, I owe a debt of gratitude to you. And Mr. McGee, I finally get to meet you. Read a lot about you. You was pretty good back in the day. So I'm happy to be part.
Well, why you drop the back in the day today, man? It was a while back. And you know what, man? I'm glad to meet you too. And, you know, Donna's been with me for now 25, 30 years at least. And we try to get interested in new businesses involving new people. We like this challenge because it gives our fans a chance to really show their knowledge of the game. And it's getting hard each year. But individuals such as yourself, if you're doing stuff in the community, you're doing stuff in your community, you're doing stuff for everybody. And we want to make sure we're part of it. And anything we can do to help you, all you have to do is say it.
Well, thank you.
We think judge, we say it.
Wait a minute, Earl. All I know that you had something that GPOA just finished up as far as that Nets Park softball, because Tony, basketball season is coming up soon, but Earl just got finished with something huge for the association. Earl, tell us about that.
Wait, Earl, that means there's two of us on here that know basketball now, me and you, right?
Oh, it can't be you, Tony.
Well, we just finished up a community effort that really focuses on the military and its active duty folks by doing a Battle of the Bases. That's what we title it, Battle of the Bases softball tournament. And we partnered with the Washington Nationals. The Washington Nationals for the last several years have asked us exclusively to be the umpiring source for this tournament. And it's getting more and more rave reviews, and it culminates in Nats Park. The championship culminates where we, GPOA, is actually umpiring the game down at Nats Park. And I tell you, our folks are just so happy to be part of that. And we have pictures and videos, and we get to meet some of the Nats players. And just recently, Quantico has become a back-to-back champion in that tournament. So it's really, really big. And we're going to branch out. Maybe we'll get part with the Commanders to do flag football, because we have really super expertise in our organization.
One thing about it, We try to be a community-based television program. We always want to have something on each airing that pertains to everyone. So, man, I just want to say right here on television, I'm so glad to have you as part of us. And now you're part of the team. I must tell you a secret. Donna can't play basketball.
Hey,
Okay?
Earl already know, Tony.
I already know.
Hey, you already know, Tony, that I am the top hooper. But Earl,
Yeah.
let's talk a little bit more about GPOA, the association, Greater Potomac Association here in the DC area, about all the things that you all do in the community, not just officiating with some of the best officials in the area, college, professional. He's got it all, Tony. I mean, that's the reason why they're so great, because they pull from all pools, females, males, from the pro ranks all the way around. But Earl, tell us about all that you all do with the military, because you all are on all the installations too, and you've got the capital classes coming up in February. But tell us a little bit more about the association where people get to meet you hands on.
Well, we're a group of military folks. And as you know, military, we do a lot of transitioning through our career. So when we have an expertise such as officiating, when you get to an organization or get to another state, you don't really know exactly where to go to continue your officiating skills. So what the GPOA offers is a platform for those military and others who want to increase their officiating skills, a platform for them to do it. We have all the bases with the exception of only 2 in the area. We do a lot of their games, and we do not just the adults, we do the kids, we do soccer, flag football, basketball, all the way through. And as Donna mentioned, we've got a really big tournament, a national tournament that we do every year on President's Day, the Capital Classic. We partner with Fort Myer. We're trying to get sponsorship through other commercial organizations to help just the military community. We don't make any money. All we do is just pay our officials and be able to gather around and see some old soldiers and sailors, airmen, Marines that we've served with in years past. Is a real good gathering place that we do it. So we have NFL officials. We've got WNBA officials. We even have a flag football official who just finished doing the World Cup in China. That's on our staff. So we try to give back to a lot of the things that we've done, we've accomplished. We give back by just through training. So if anyone wants to know anything about officiating or want to really craft their skills, go by our motto. Our motto is always bring your A game. And I tell you, our training sessions and the people that we surround ourselves with are top-notch folks, and we just enjoy it. Matter of fact,
Tony, you cannot get involved.
I got to ask them a question though, Earl. And you said you have NFL officials, right? Correct?
Yes.
Back in 1971, on a big player, God help me, is there anywhere I can go back and get his number and protest?
You know the players are always right.
Every time I see officials in the locker room now, I say, hey man, what about number 82 holding me back? Now, you know, this is good, Ian. You know what it's been. And you know, I'm going to start calling you E. That's the way we do it. But at the same time, anything we can do to help. But let me jump on another subject there, Kevin. What are you thinking about the team this year? Just, I want a quick thought from you on that.
On paper, before the season started, awesome. But as you know, injuries play a huge part. And when you have injuries to key players, no matter when you say next man up may not have the skill set that you're looking for. Hey, you can say next man up, Earl Taylor, and at 73 years old, I can go out there, but I'm not going to perform as the top-notch player.
Man, you look good, man. I didn't know you was in my playpen.
Yeah, yes, 1952. So when you look at the whole thing, it's not anything that was humanly done. It was just, the luck of the draw. Last year we didn't have any injuries. This year we do. So you're going to have to grin and bear it. But in this particular time, I'm hoping that the leadership is looking strategically down the road and say, hey, let's go ahead and look at this position. Let's look at this position and maybe be able to doctor and build it up, through the draft or through, swapping the players and things of that nature. So, I hope we can run the table and win the division and get in there. That'd be funny if we could.
It would be a miracle.
They got to go get Fast Eddie off the pool table that you run that table. But
yeah. Well, if they run it, because they're not out yet. If they run
not out, 6 games to go. 6 games to go.
Donna, and I know I'm always got to ask our guests about what they feel. And I'm asking you now, that's the key. But don't you think they need to pay better attention to their backups?
Yes, they do. But that train left the station a long time ago. You can't do that now because you're in a what we call an emergency mode because you just turn around and look to see who's standing in line. That statement that you just said should have been doctored or should have been considered way ahead of time. So just in case,
Yeah, these 6-game skids. But Tony, we done ran out of time. I know you want to ask Earl a lot more questions. That just means that he's going to have to come back on.
That's the one question I want to ask you, man. I want to get you back on many times you want to come.
Yes, I do. I really do.
You have a certain knowledge of it, and I've always wanted to get involved with officials so I can beef with them anyway. So, hey, man.
There he go, Earl. There he go.
Yeah.
Again, we appreciate Earl from GPOA coming on. Sports Challenge, Sunday night picks, Monday night picks. And Tony, as they always say, we don't say goodbye.
In a minute.
In a minute.
I like that.
Looking for top-notch sports officials who know the game inside and out? The Greater Potomac Officials Association, GPOA, proudly serves the military community throughout our region, with nearly 90% of our officials being military retirees, active duty service members, or guardsmen. We bring unmatched discipline, professionalism, and integrity to every contest. From youth leads to adult alumni, our officials cover it all. Want to learn more about GPOA or bring our officials to your program? Contact owner and CEO Earl Teller III at 202-498-2032 or email him at gr8rpotomac@comcast.net.
The one-of-a-kind joy of Kellogg's cereal and ice-cold milk.
Welcome back. You hate officials, but we got some good ones with us. When we talk about officiating from now on, we're going to, Donna, can we get in touch with them so we can make sure, maybe we can bring in some calls that weren't made. It's going to need that. What I'm talking about is the Commanders need all the calls they can get now to have a chance. But speaking of having a chance, Donna, we got to bring somebody in to do our picks. Now, I know you're doing well on your picks and as well as doing the thing. But, Michael, how can you win if the person that picks you get your picks first and then pick after you? I'm a little slow, Mike.
Hey, Tony, I do not do that. But before Mike answers that question, it's time for our sports challenge before we get to the cruise pick. So let's find out what the people are doing in the sports challenge.
1, 2, 3, let's go.
Well, Tony and Mike, as you can see right here, it's Sunday night picks. Everybody was going for the Rams as far as Crystal City Pub, the Glory Days. As far as the other ones, not so lucky. They went for the Bucks. GPOA, Crystal City Restaurant, Billy over there, and Van Allen Real Estate. They went for the Bucks. But let's talk about the Monday night game. You and Mike, Tony. Crystal City Pub is going for the Panthers. I mean, I can't believe they went for the Panthers and everybody else is going for the 49ers. So, Mike, I'm going to jump to you first. Can the Panthers beat the 49ers?
Well, actually, that game, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I don't see any way in the world. I really don't.
Well, whoa, Mike, yes, you can. You were about to say it.
I'm sorry. I know the Panthers are just 2 or 3 games possibly away from a playoff team, but the way the Rams have been playing, Donna, with Chris, there's just no way. There's just no way. I mean, Matthew Stafford, everybody talks about him as being a machine at 37 years old. I just, they say they're the best team in the NFL. I just don't see it. Sorry.
Tony, can the Panthers win?
Yeah, they can win. And, that was shown over the past weekend that anybody can win in this league. That's why you don't give up all hope on the Commanders now. Because let's say that a few teams in the East start taking a fall, lose 2 or 3 games in a row, and Commanders win 2 or 3. We got a race. So what we have to do is stick with this team all the way to the end. But they got to do their part too. But they can beat them, yes. And the only thing about the 49ers, last year they were my team. They didn't improve enough in all season. Okay, you're gonna say, oh, they got the best all-around running back and all-around player in the world, but he can't stay well. They got a lot of injuries. They didn't improve their offensive line, so it's admirable what they're doing, but they're not the ones. So yes, they can be beat.
And as y'all can see, this race is close across the board, but right now the Glory Days and Van Allen Real Estate are leading at 13-11, and GPOA is right behind with Crystal City Pub at 12-12, and then Crystal City Restaurant at 11-13. So it's going to be interesting, Tony, but it's hot. And talk about hot, it's our picks, Tony, because
here we go.
If you look at here, fans, I picked first before any of them picked. And right now, as you can see, that race is close also. And everybody is picking the Lions except me and Solomon. The Chiefs, everybody is picking them. And then the Eagles, everybody is picking them. Vikings, Tony is the only one thinks that the Vikings are going to win. And then the Bills, everybody's picking the Bills but me as far as the Steelers.
You may have a good one there, Donna, because the Bills are kind of, and this was happening somewhat with Kansas City. The teams that are really depending on one player to make the difference, they are the teams that will be in trouble at the end of this year. And that's what we're looking at Buffalo right now. The big quarterback is hurt a little bit. He's making plays, but they know if they can shut him down, they got opportunity. Same thing in Kansas City. So, yeah, I picked against both of them because I think they're on their way out. And the other thing is I think the Ravens are on their way in.
Hey, Mike, I'm going to let you sum up. What do you think? Tony picks the Vikings and then the Bills, like he said, a dive. How do you see this NFL right now race before we have to check out of here ourselves?
Well, I'm just going to say I sort of think they've given up. The Vikings have talked about J.J. McCarthy. And even though, yes, he was hurt, didn't play last year, this is his first full year. He's not going to find his way to the bench this year, but they're going to be looking for a starting quarterback next year. I just don't think he's going to get it done. I'm sorry. Vikings won't make the playoffs. There's no way.
And Tony, you got the last words as the Commanders play the Denver Broncos with one of the best defenses in the NFL on Sunday night. Tony, you got the last word.
Well, the only reason they don't only just play one of the best defenses, they play one of the best coaches. And it's going to be a challenge, but this is no better challenge if they really think they can get back into the game. They got to do it now. There's no slipping. Even if they win all the games, they may not make it. but you never give up, you never give out, and we never say goodbye. We say, in the minute.
The one-of-a-kind joy of Kellogg's cereal and ice-cold milk.
I know I said in a minute, I know that's our sign off, but one thing I forgot to say, happy Thanksgiving. And one thing that you have to do, love your people, be with your family, love people around you. Don't always distribute the hate and the things that are going on now. Make it a Thanksgiving for real. And the only way you can do that is be for real. So happy Thanksgiving. We'll be back. And as I said, in the minute.